Cool. I think we're set. All right. So like I said, we've got Ty and Robin starting out. We're gonna trickle in Cooper and Howie as we go on. What are we gonna talk about? We'll probably talk a little bit about COVID stuff, even though I'd rather talk about tattoos. But I mean, we probably have to talk a little bit about it. When's the last time you guys talked about tattoos? Probably, months, right?
Yeah, it's depressing to talk about, to be honest with you, because it's almost like when this whole thing hit and they shut everything down, my mind, tattooing was illegal. Now I need to find another career for the time being. I didn't want to talk about it. I didn't want to talk about booking. I didn't want to talk about rescheduling. Just try to find a way to make it meet in the meantime.
Yeah.
So then print some shirts for people. We're doing wholesale shirts, and now that tattooing's coming back around, we're just gonna cut the wholesale out, and I'm gonna do a couple printings for some friends in the business and stuff, but put my focus back towards my regular work.
So we talked a little bit about this just through text message, but you guys decided to buy a printing press before COVID came along. It was just kind of dumb luck that you had it by the time this happened.
December.
Yeah, in December we got into it. Took out some loans. I got some direct-to-garment equipment. Really good stuff, man. You could print like photorealism. It's pretty awesome. It's very complex, very technical.
Very technical?
Yeah, it's kind of like baking, man. If you don't get the formula just right, it doesn't work out. It washes out. So we've got it nailed down, but there's still you'll throw out a shirt here and there, and at the cost of the ink to use on the shirts, it's not like screen printing. If you ruin one shirt, you're taking your profit out of like the next 5 prints, basically.
Really?
It's nickel and dime, man. But we do the work right, so that's why it's nickel and dime. But if the shirt doesn't look right, I don't send it out.
Yeah. And so you had originally just did it.
It's fun for us, but it was very stressful to do for other people. I don't, doing for people's businesses and contractors and stuff like that. And it's so much work for so little money that it's not enjoyable. Because even when you see something come out and it's not a cool piece of art, it's just like a promotion for somebody's business. It's not fulfilling at all. So I have a couple cool friends doing some stuff with me. Howie's actually doing some shirts too. Dead Meat's doing. So like when I see those come out of the machine, every time I load another shirt and see a cool piece of art come out, that's fun,
But so you're just printing in like bulk and sending to them. You're not printing and like for them to send out to their customers or anything. You're like printing bulk stuff for them and sending to them for them to distribute, right?
No, I'm actually doing for both Howie and Dead Meat. We're doing fulfillment.
Oh, really?
So they'll order them from us, and they'll put their client's information in, and we print the shirt, bag it up, and mail it right from here. So it just lands where they want it to.
Yeah.
It's easy for the artists too, and we have the commercial mailing service with a discount too, so it helps keep the cost down on shipping for them, and it's already here, so why pay to ship it to Pennsylvania or California just to redistribute it,
Right. Yeah.
So I think it's better because they'd be paying for double shipping,
Right. Yeah. And I mean, I guess that probably more tattooers are making designs and wanting and like doing merchandise now than they probably ever have before because there's nothing else for them to do. So you probably kind of fell into that at the right time. But it doesn't you don't see any reason to like keep it going, or you can't. The margins are so thin that it's hard to like bring someone in to do it going forward. You think?
Well, it is. Yeah. Well, the thing is, if I'm not in the room, it's not going to come out good, and I don't want to make it sound like I'm a master of direct-to-garment printing. It's just she'll tell you if the shirt's not loaded just right, if you don't have the right amount of pre-treat in the shirt before you put it on the machine. The print looks like shit. Way too many variables. That's what I mean by as simple as it sounds like, hey, throw a shirt on and print it in a printer. It's not like that at all. It's 10 times more technical than they let you believe when you invest in it to begin with. They have it nailed down at the the distributor's place where he's selling the equipment, and they bring in their best guy to show you all this amazing shit they can print on this machine, and then you get it home and you're like, holy fuck, man, this thing. I don't even know what I'm doing, So it did take us probably it's a good month and a half, 2 months to figure it out. But there's still little hiccups that you have here and there where you throw away shirts,
Yeah. Well,
it's something to do for fun to try to help out some friends. But for the little bit of money you can make over, say, an 8-hour day, and that's with us having no overhead because we're using our own facility that we pay on already, and us doing labor. So if I had overhead and an employee, there's $0 to be made in direct garment printing unless you're printing hundreds of shirts a day, which we're not. The equipment's not fast enough for that. So I'd say we probably have about a good 50 to 60 single-sided shirt a day max, at the most, at the long day. It's just there's too many steps to the process.
Yeah. So I'm gonna put this iPad up where I can actually see people. We've got a bunch of people that have said hi, what's up? Hey everybody, Mark Tierney, I know that name. And SJ was on yesterday while I was tattooing a little bit. So what about your other artists at the shop? Is anyone worried? What are they doing? Because you guys don't even have a date for when you're gonna open back up, right?
Yeah, so what happened with one business in New Jersey, it was a gym. He figured he'd just, decide to open because he's a membership only, like a private club. And the state came in and seized all his assets and shut his gym down because you're disobeying a direct order from the governor, So we have other tattoo shops that think like, hey, we're going to do what we want to. We'll make a membership. And it's going to come back to bite the guy in the ass eventually when he does it.
Because we're health department regulated.
Yeah, the health department regulations are saying, you can't operate in this time because you're too close proximity. So, it's not going to work in anybody's favor to open before they allow you to open.
Yeah.
I wish I was somewhere where, it wasn't so concentrated and so bad. The Northeast is pretty rough for us here, though.
Yeah, we didn't mention where you guys are. You guys are in New Jersey, so you're like in the epicenter, right on the like where everything was hardest hit. That's what's so crazy about this thing is that it's like where in Tennessee, it's like I don't even know anyone that's ever had it. I don't even have a friend of a friend that's been diagnosed. And so down here, it's just like we have our Shelby County. We're in Memphis, so Memphis and Nashville obviously have more than anyone else because we're big cities. But overall, the state's fairly low, and like Arkansas and Mississippi are super low because it's like farm country. Everyone's so spread out. So it's completely different impact here. Like this entire time I've been like, man, I could tattoo. It wouldn't matter. I could wear a mask and tattoo. And,
we can do it safer than most other businesses.
Yeah. We're more, prepared than any other business, which is,
Right.
But if you don't have anybody directly affected, it makes it very hard to believe that it's as bad as it is. Yeah. We have some friends in the hospitals that are dealing with it every day, so they're telling us the horror stories, which makes us say, okay.
So we don't personally have anyone that was affected with death, but then the one guy who works at our shop, he lost an aunt, an uncle, and a cousin. So it's very personal for him.
Oh, wow. An aunt, an uncle, and a cousin.
Yeah.
Holy shit. That's crazy. Yeah, that's good. So Coop is jumping on, I think, here. He may have his Coop, you're muted. There you go. I found him. Everybody watching, this is Cooper, formerly of Guru Tattoo in San Diego, now of Private Studio in San Diego. And his schedule got thrown off a little bit by COVID as well. Because Coop, you were planning to we were just talking about how hard Ty and Robin are in New Jersey, so they were hit super hard. I'm in the South in Memphis. It's been fairly, I don't even know anyone that's been diagnosed with COVID. What's it like in San Diego?
There's definitely been a few here and there, but I think it seems to be a lot less in San Diego. Yeah, they're being really careful. The governor here he locked everything down earlier than other spots and is holding on to it a little longer, which is definitely good in some ways, but is making people hurt in a lot of ways too. So, but as far as sickness goes, it doesn't seem to be nearly as bad. It's I'm sure for those guys out there in the East Coast, anywhere near New York at all, has got to be dramatically worse,
Yeah. What? And you had planned to the last I talked to you, you were leaving Guru, and your plan was just to travel and bounce around and tattoo all over the country. And I guess that completely got nipped, huh?
Yeah, that's pretty much it, man. I was really not even planning on having a private studio. It was just a fallback, and I was gonna really try and do something new. Where I kind of wanted to be an in-town guest artist, which sounds a little ridiculous. But in some ways, it takes the best of both worlds. I don't feel like I got to work with all that many new guys. I love the guys at Guru. They were fucking awesome. But I didn't get to work with many of the people that I'm traveling through. I just kind of was tucked away in a spot where you just never saw them. So I figure if I do this, I can travel around town. I can do all the guest artist stuff. But if you do it in town, you take out all the really exhaustive parts of that too. You know, the going to the airport, waking up early, feeling wiped out for a couple of days, having to wrap all your ink so they don't explode. All that shit is gone. You can just have a permanent setup that you can just take. I can pack in the back of my truck and an extra Craftsman, and it's already set up and ready to go for the most part. I can just pop it up and down in the back of the truck, and I can stop and work with friends here, friends there, as long as they'll tolerate my new idea anyway. People might get a little weird about it after a while, but so far everybody's been pretty receptive. I just didn't get, I just was getting on my feet over here, and that was it. And then COVID hit, and here we are. So best thing you can do is be flexible. That's anything, right? I've seen this industry turn on its head every 4 or 5 years. It has some unexpected way of turning on its head. So for me at this point, I don't know. I just kind of par for the course in a way. It's kind of fun. You just, the best thing you can do is just stay mobile and flexible and roll the punches,
Yeah. It seems like logistically that could be challenging what you're trying to do. Like where do your clients go to get tattooed, and like how you split? Were you just planning to do like booth rentals from different shops throughout San Diego, or are you just doing commission splits, or how?
Yeah, basically whatever they're comfortable with. For me, I knew financially I'm not going to make the most money that way. I'm probably going to end up paying out more than I would for other stuff. But a lot of my clients, I would say at least half, come in from somewhere else. So it's really not going to matter where I'm at for them. I just tell them beforehand, they can meet me there. And then they also get to meet new artists. And I mean, we're really lucky in San Diego. It used to be that there was just kind of one main spot in San Diego and a couple other pretty good spots. And then, over 10 years that splintered out. Now there are just, there's so many just phenomenal tattoo shops in San Diego. You almost can't throw a rock without hitting one. So, I want to take advantage of that. I know that I'm on my way out of California, but I'm trying to really drag my feet and make the most of it. I got a bucket list, all these guys I want to work with, all these spots I want to see, and I'm trying to hopefully check as much of that off as I can before I go. So I'm not really looking at this as a permanent solution, but just an interesting experiment for now. And if it works pretty well, it might keep it going for a little while. We'll see. I'm still trying to do traveling guest artists.
Yeah, where is better than San Diego, California? Why would you want to go anyplace else?
Oh man, that's tough. That's actually why I came here originally, intending on being here for 6 months. I even told Aaron when I first came to Guru, over 15 years ago now. I told him that I was gonna just, I'm gonna save a little money because I'm gonna open my own shop, man. I'm gonna save a little money, work for you guys, I'll be out of here. And then that turned into 15 years, So, it is hard, San Diego is beautiful. It's amazing. It's also very, very cost prohibitive. If you're in a good position, you can maintain it. If you're basically trying to pull yourself up from your bootstraps, you don't really have any bootstraps here, being able to even buy a house or invest in the land. If you want to own a business, you actually want to own the building or any of that. It's not impossible, but it's a major uphill climb. It's a beautiful area, but the sunshine tax is a lot higher than most people think it is. So that's the main reason I'm leaving. And, also look at me, I'm about as white as you can get without being fully albino. I go out in the sun for 5 minutes and I'm just scorched, So right. It's as much as I like being in a sunny beach town, I'm probably better suited to be in like Seattle or some mountain town somewhere. And that's kind of more my jam anyway. I love driving through the mountains, I love camping and hiking. And this is great out here. But once you're away from the beach, if you don't surf, it's all desert, man. That's it. Desert's fun too. You can take the trucks out into sand dunes and stuff like that, but you can only do so much of that.
Yeah. What about
run out of money? That's expensive.
Ty and Robin and I, we travel a lot together and just do shows. We do conventions a lot. Are you not interested in that kind of circuit? Would you rather be in shops?
I am definitely, and it's something I had a maybe 2 or 3 year period where I was hitting a lot of those. And it was really good for me, but same thing. It's also really exhausting. And I'm at that point for a while now where I've been trying to, focus more on life-work balance. I've seen that get out of hand for a lot of people, and myself included. And, it's good for your tattooing, but not a lot else, So every time I start to go down that road, I run into that brick wall again. It's like, oh, I can totally do this. I can go to here, and then I can just stay an extra week in between and hit this other show. It's just a little ways away, and then Next thing I know, I'm sick and I'm exhausted. I'm not happy, and good for tattooing, but not good for other stuff. So I'm happy being less popular and just being more focused on making my life work, I guess. But I do want to include more of that. Pick 2 or 3 really good shows, ones that you don't want to miss for anything, and then maybe make it a point to make those.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to do it. We got a bunch. Sorry, I'm missing everyone's comments. There's a shit ton of them. Jared just said I missed his location. I guess you're talking about Coop. He's in San Diego. Ty and Robin are in New Jersey. I'm in Memphis, and then Howie, who should be on the email. Let me text Howie. Is this unprofessional to do while we're in the middle of a podcast? To make sure that he knows when he's come on. Dear Howie, we're waiting for you. Okay, cool. I did. Yeah, he's let me just read a couple of these things. So just so I'm not ignoring everyone's comments. Josh Ruff says upstate New York, the numbers are pretty low, and they were hoping to reopen in June. So how far is that from you guys?
Oh, Josh,
honestly, I don't know.
Yeah, he's up there. I think he's around like the Syracuse area by Josh Payne. I'm pretty sure he's somewhere up in that neck of the woods. So they're 2.5, 3 hours probably.
So is it just less populated, I guess?
Upstate New York,
upstate is more country. Upstate's beautiful. Yeah. Nothing like the city. Yeah.
Let's see. I'm trying to pick a couple. Colt Turner says I should go back to underground. Oh, yeah, maybe so. Nah, I don't want to. I love underground art. I tattooed there for a long time. I love all those people. Thank you. Tosh says our podcasts and videos are super helpful. Thank you. Thanks for watching. We appreciate it. All these guys make it possible. We had the last time. Oh, hey, Coop. By the way, I thought about you the other day. Actually, are you leaving? You're real glitchy on me.
No, sorry.
Okay.
Just moving my chair.
Okay.
Later, guys.
Yeah, take it easy.
All right.
I thought about you the other day. We did we started doing, I don't know if you've seen them, we started doing these tattoo science kind of series. And we had someone on talking about how ink really gets in the skin. And you and I did that talk, and you were talking about, I remember like you were talking about like poking a stick in the sand at talking about like angle of entry and all that kind of stuff. And I thought I started to message you and just say like, hey, check out this interview. We have this biophysicist on talking about.
I watched it. And
did you watch it?
I think it's probably the same guy. I think you were telling me about him at the time. You said you just started to talk to him about some of that stuff.
Yeah.
And I like that, man. I really like where it's going with that. I like. I've always wanted to go a step further and even actually do some more scientific type of simple animations to really illustrate some of the stuff. Because I feel like a lot of what's holding a lot of tattooers back these days is just lack of basic understanding. That's kind of holding back their technique, and it's slowing them down artistically because they fight with their technique. And it's one of the big milestones that all of us have to get past as tattooers. But I feel like we could, with what you're doing and some of the ideas that I have, and other people want to chip in a little here and there. I think as a group, we could all smooth that little bump out quite a bit.
Yeah.
Make things a lot easier for everybody to achieve, at least better artwork faster, which is, part of the game at least. I mean, if you're going to do a half-assed job, you're still going to do a half-assed job. But, for those of us who care, that's a big step. I remember when I was coming up, I was just desperately thirsty for knowledge. And, I was coming up 20 years ago, and it was the point where nobody wanted to give you anything. If they had knowledge, it was a secret, and they would give you wrong information before they would ever give you right information. So just to be able to correct that a little bit and offer people good information to let them sort of spread their wings, I think is if I had never offered anything else to anybody in the industry, I think that is something that could be really worthwhile. Help at least smooth out some of the rough edges of the learning process.
Yeah. I know we do.
I love what you're saying. I want to try some of that stuff.
Yeah.
Is that stuff out yet? The stuff you made? I want to try it. I think that he might be thinking it's going to be a little more effective than I am, but I mean, I don't know. I want to try it before I say anything for sure. I really
you're talking about silicone-based ointments and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They've been making them for a while, and I've used them. And to be honest, I can't it's one of those things where it's like when you're tattooing, you don't really notice any difference at all. And then when it's healed, I mean, not to be cocky, but my tattoos always heal pretty good. I mean, I don't have a lot of, and whenever I ask the client, like, how did it heal? They're like, oh, great. I barely even noticed it. Or, it flaked fine. I don't typically have a lot of trouble. So it's hard for me to tell the difference between like hustle butter and that. I can't really tell that. Do you guys know what I'm talking about, Ty? Robin, did you guys watch that thing where he was talking about silicone and lack of like accelerating ink into the skin? It's a really interesting, like in theory, and what I would love to do with that guy going forward is like do some real, we've been talking about renting like one of those Phantom cameras. They're like 30 to 50 grand to buy, but we can rent them for like $2,500 for a week or so, and actually like dive in and like see how close we can get and watch ink disperse across the skin and do like a side by side. Sean did a side by side with me where he took like A&D ointment and put it on a board and silicone based ointment and put it on a board and just dripped ink down it. And it does like the A&D, the ink kind of grabs and slowly trickles through the ointment. And with the silicone, it shoots off like Rain-X or something, like, like water droplets on the windshield.
Well, see, that's what I think it might be more helpful is that, I think the part that he was paying less attention to is that so much of what we use any lubricant for is not so much that actually lubricates the needle going into the skin. Yeah, that helps, but a lot of it's just about managing the ink on the skin so it doesn't make a mess and surface tension, so that the whatever is in your ink well and your needle points is going to, flow onto the skin at the regular rate that you need it to. And so for the most part, I think almost anything would work and do a similar job. I mean, we've all been in a space where for one reason or another, we had to sort of tattoo a dry spot, no ointment. And I've done that a few times, and I even compared them before. And honestly, I couldn't tell enough of a difference between the two result-wise. I couldn't tell enough difference between the two to say that it really helped. Other than the fact that the one without the loop, of course, made a much bigger mess. I couldn't tell what was going on. If you're doing a stencil, God knows it's fucked. So, it's really helpful for that. So I'm not in any way saying that his stuff is not good or not, effective. I'm just saying that I think he might be focusing on, a different part of it. It might be more useful just managing the surface tension, because, Vaseline you put on the skin, and regardless of the fact of petroleum jelly, it soaks into the skin too. Mm-hmm. So I've noticed with some silicone stuff and other ones that I've tried as well, you put a coat on there and it's there for the whole time. So you don't have to use nearly as much. Right. And you don't have to keep coming back and redoing it. And so a lot of us also that are using bandages, I'm wondering about like, Sanoderm and these types of bandages, the clear sticky bandages, what the difference is going to be. If that silicone, is that going to make it not stick? Is it going to stick better because it didn't soak so much Vaseline into the pores? Which way is that going to go? That's where I'm curious. Either way, I think it's probably a good thing.
He made the comment talking about how silicone molecules overlap. Like, oh, here comes Howie. Hold on one second. Let me let Howie in. And also, while we're on this, Emily, you don't have to write them all down. You can just read it if you don't mind your voice being heard. Emily won't come on camera, but she says hi. What's up, dude? How are you? Everybody, this is Howie. If you don't know him, he's been on the show a few times. Have been to our shirt. Howie, do you know everybody here? You know Ty and Robin. Do you know Coop?
I don't know Coop. I just started stalking Coop's work last night.
He's a badass.
Like really some good. Kind of crazy person. I love your work.
Thanks, man.
Hey Ty. Hey Robin.
We started off talking about COVID, but we got away from it pretty quickly. We were talking about tattoo ointments right now. But what I was about to say was that something that Sean, the biophysicist that we've had on the show, that he mentioned was how silicone, what am I trying to say, molecules overlap like snake scales. And he mentioned that just using them as like just putting them on the tattoo and sending it out the door, outside of obviously the cross-contamination issue if they bump into the door on the way out. But he was saying that they were literally as effective as something like Sanoderm, because like even if you wipe it with a paper towel, like you're saying, it kind of stays on the skin, it stays where it is. And he said it
seems to be a more permanent barrier.
Wow, it's a semi-permanent barrier. Why are you laughing?
Capri Sun.
Capri? Are you drinking Capri Suns?
Oh, I made lunch, so I'm still on daddy duty right now. So I'm multitask while I.
You didn't have to jump on right now. I was just letting you know that it was cool to do that. Well, let's change gears now that we're all on. I was talking about, and I didn't mention this to anyone, but Ty, you've got the new. If for anyone that doesn't watch us regularly, Ty jumps on and does machine reviews for us, and he's super engineer minded. He tears things apart and breaks them down, and talks about what he likes and doesn't like about them. But you've got the new.
Hey, thanks again for watching. If you haven't already, we ask that you would subscribe to our channel so you can stay up to date with new episodes. Also, if you've gotten any value out of our show at all, we would be honored if you would buy us a beer at our Patreon link. And finally, if you'd like to visit our website and sign up for our newsletter, you can find out where we are going, if we're going to be in a town near you, maybe tatting at a convention or something like that. And while you're there, you can pick up some Fireside merchandise like a new t-shirt or a hoodie or a coffee mug. Thanks again.